Like basically pain is just wadded up, tangled up, sequestered energy in our body that's not being allowed to move. And it can be life, sort of like bioenergy, life force energy, or chi. So there's sort of just a physical component to it, and there's probably a mental component to it, mental energy, the stories, the belief systems we have about our relationship with different parts of ourselves and the world. And then there's probably emotional energy tied into that. When pain becomes a problem, or discomfort, it becomes a problem when we resist it, when we resist feeling it. It's your body and your life trying to get your attention. So there's probably a good chance that if there's something we've been sort of sequestering and trying to avoid, that at some point it will want to come to the surface. It will try to come to the surface. And so, and the more energy we put into trying to avoid it, it goes into that, and eventually we kind of have to like keep pushing harder and harder to try to avoid it, to try to not feel it. And so as eventually we're going to get sort of tired, and it's going to start to come to the surface. All that energy that we put into it is going to sort of want it to come to the surface. And so if the only strategy that we have is trying to avoid it, it's going to overwhelm us. And that's when there's a lot of suffering involved with it, and it's no fun. You could look at it as as a mathematical thing. Resistance times pain equals suffering. If we look at pain through the lens of resistance, then it's guaranteed to suck. If resistance is the problem, you might think, well, then I'll just not do that. I'll just not resist, and there you go. But it sort of implies that there's a choice there, and on some level there's really not a choice, because this resistance got formed in us. This relationship that we have with uncomfortable things and pain got formed in us, a long time ago, when we were maybe in the womb, and maybe when we were 6 months old, or maybe when we're 2 years old, where we're just feeling into our world. And we learn from feeling into our world that pain is not, there are lots of things that aren't safe to feel, and that the main way to deal with pain is to disconnect from it, is to try to avoid it. That's kind of what we get from when we're sort of soaking in the world out there, is that message, and our nervous system just picks that up and it says, okay, that must be the way that we deal with that, and so we start doing that. If we have, exercised our ability to sort of work with it through allowing, as opposed to resistance, giving ourselves permission to feel it, then it starts to actually unravel that ball of discomfort or pain or whatever it is. We start to be able to sort of unravel it and sort of fluff it up, and start to tease out the different tendrils of the emotional parts that are tied into it, the physical parts that are tied into it, and the mental parts, the stories that are tied into it. That starts to kind of like, unfold and unravel. And when that starts to happen, it's, the suffering part of it's not there. The, I guess, reasons to do this are because you're going to encounter pain at some point. We're going to get old, and we're going to encounter pain. We're going to encounter uncomfortable things. And so it would be good to have some skills for working with it when it happens. And the other thing is that if you are interested in now, if you're in your growth and development, then certainly if you're going to move through old patterns and sort of become more conscious, and if that's a desire for you to sort of improve yourself and your life, in that way, then there are definitely times when you're going to have to feel through things that are uncomfortable, as those patterns, as these defensive, protective patterns, that conditioning that's gotten stored in our nervous system, as that unwinds, we're going to have to feel some discomfort, and we're going to have to feel through that.